What's up, everybody? It's Demo with Demo Vapes. Thank you so much for joining me tonight. I'm back for another review. So yeah, tonight we're going to be taking a look at the Twisted Messes 24 Pro Series by Twisted Messes. So yeah, as the name suggests, this is 24 millimeters around, and it's basically sort of an upgraded version of the Twisted Messes 24. That's really great because the Twisted Messes 24 is one of my all-time favorite RDAs. One thing I'm really happy to see is that he didn't mess with too much here, and it vapes very much the same, or at least very similar to the original Twisted Messes 24. I'm really happy about that. I was kind of concerned that he was going to be changing too much and it would change the whole nature of this RDA, but nope, it feels very much the same as the Twisted Messes 24, and that is a good thing as far as I'm concerned. Alright, so this has a .11 interlocking alien frame staple in here that I made myself on top of the Titan 2700 parallel box mod, and inside of that tonight I have Nillionaire. This is a juice that I got from a subscriber named Dan Mansfield, also known as Oh My Lanta. I'm sure some of you guys will be familiar with him. And he works for Independent Vapor Company, and they supplied me with some of this juice to, you know, do some testing and maybe show off on camera. And this is a juice that I'm just now trying tonight, and it is just a really fantastic rainbow sherbet flavor. Truly incredible. It really kind of captures the magic of rainbow sherbet that I remember from being a kid, so that's fantastic. So anyway, let's have a little vape. So yeah, that is wide open airflow. I kind of like this anywhere between wide open and about 3/4 of the way open. So I just have it on wide open right now because I didn't want it to be quite so hot. I'm kind of starting to get into a little bit cooler vapes actually, and a little bit more airflow. I'm kind of liking that a lot more. So anyway, without further ado, let's go down up close, take a closer look at this, and show you a whole lot more about the Twisted Messes 24 Pro Series by Twisted Messes. Alrighty everybody, here we have the Twisted Messes 24 Pro Series by Twisted Messes. Comes in this awesome little Delrin or black plastic tin. I'm assuming it's just black plastic. I don't know if it's really actually Delrin or not, but it does come in this nice black plastic case, and let's go ahead and open it. Oh, uh-oh. Why is it not opening? Ugh. Well, so no doubt you've noticed that there is an issue right away. Inside of this package, there is a screwdriver for your hex head screws, and if that's placed in the wrong spot, it will cause it to be very difficult to open this, and you'll sort of have to, you know, kind of give it a little whack and kind of try to work it. Let's see if I can get this open. See? Okay, finally. All right, there we go. We got it open. Popping that open, we will take out all of the things here. And these are all of the accessories that come with the Twisted Messes 24 Pro Series. You've got your bag of goodies right here, which includes a 810 drip tip adapter right here. Let's see if I can show that to you a little bit better. That's right there, it's a black piece of Delrin right there. 810 drip tip adapter, we've got some hex head gold grub screws, as well as a bunch of O-rings. Otherwise, we have a black Ultim drip tip, and that is what Kent called this, actually, at e-cig. He said that this was a black Ultim drip tip. And these are not 810 drip tip sizes. These are their own size. They are Twisted Messes 24 sizing, and that's why it does come with an 810 drip tip adapter. But one of the things that I'd like to point out that's kind of a bummer right here is, as we rotate it, there's this little scuff right here on the drip tip, and that is from the 510 connection, or the 510 threads rather, on the RDA when they sit in the package. The way it's packaged, the threads sit against this drip tip, and so all of mine are scratched. So that's kind of a bummer, but not a huge deal, I guess, but that is something to consider, I guess, if you really want to use the black drip tip. Also here we have the Ultim slightly shorter drip tip, same size. And right here also you get this nice tool for your grub screws, your hex head grub screws, and I think he's released a tool like this with all of his atomizers so far. You can correct me if I'm wrong, but most, if not all, of Twisted Messes atomizers comes with this exact screwdriver, and it works really well. It fits into your you know, your telescoping, or rather your removable bit screwdrivers. Very, very high quality tool here. And that brings us to the Twisted Messes 24 Pro Series RDA. You'll notice right away that we have the return of the COG style AFC adjuster, or this unscrewable top top cap. That has been brought back from previous Twisted Messes products. On the bottom, you'll see we have Twisted Messes, TM24 right here, your negative screw, the serial number below, and 510 pin. Now, at first glance, you'll see that this doesn't look like it's protruding that much, but when you take into account that there's this insulator right here, if you took that away, this pin would actually be reasonably protruding. Although I do find that this pin, for whatever reason on this particular one, sits in just a little bit more than the other two that I have. All right, going over the outside here, we have Twisted Mess, or the TM24 logo right here. At the bottom it says Twisted, and on the other side it says Messes. Up top here we have the metal drip tip that it comes with. Same size as all the other drip tips, but this is made of metal for those of you who don't care about your teeth. And moving on, the way this AFC is adjusted right here is just like pretty much all of the other Twisted Messes atomizers, at least the cylindrical ones and not the square one. The airflow is adjusted by unscrewing this right here and then moving this outer barrel. It is kind of a fiddly system, but once you get used to it, it actually is really nice because it frees up some space on the inside for bigger coils. And you'll see what I mean in a second. So anyway, unscrewing this, we have a slight conical shape going on right here. Here is your AFC ring right here, and your inner barrel right here. Now you'll notice on this side we have a Ultem chamber reducer for single coil, and that's pretty cool. I'm gonna go ahead and pull this apart and I'll show you guys that in closer up detail. All right, and onto the deck section of the Twisted Messes 24 Pro. Notice right away we have this big Ultem chamber reducer, and it's got a little lip right here. As you'll notice, I'll pull this out so you guys can see it. It's in there with an O-ring, so it's kind of in there a little bit tight. Pushes in nice, it's kind of tough to get out. Oh shit. And after I retrieved it from it going flying because it was in there real tight, this is the single coil chamber reducer, and you can see right here that it has this little lip. And the cool thing about that is that if you drip just straight in through the drip tip using a single coil, it won't just pool on top here or go over this side and go out the airflows. This will allow you to drip and just have it run off onto your deck. And that's really cool. There actually seems to be some thought behind this as opposed to just most chamber reducers, which are just a little plug. All right, now for the deck section, some new things. We have some titanium flathead and Phillips head grub screws, some squared off post holes, a TM24 engraving down there at the bottom, and on the sides you can see that it says Twisted Messes, and you'll have to take my word for it because it doesn't, it does go all the way down there, but you can't see it when the posts are installed. Honestly, that's kind of it. There's not too much to this. You can build this a number of different ways. You can build from here to here and do a center post style build, or you can build from here to here, or you can build from here to here. So because of the fact that these are separated as negative and positive, you kind of have some more versatility to build on. And that's what he's been doing now for a while. So it's nothing new from Twisted Messes that's the way that's designed. One thing that is very new is that you can squonk with this RDA. This does come with a squonk pin, so that's really nice. I haven't actually tried it in squonk mode, but I kind of have an idea of how it's going to perform. I mean, I can't see it performing that differently than, say, I don't know, the Goon and Goon 1.5 or any of those other decks that the squonk pin just opens up into the bottom of the deck. I mean, it's just going to flood the deck, and it'll be fine. It's not necessarily meant for squonking, but you can use it on a squonker if you'd like. All right, and this is a TM24 Pro that I already have a build in. These are my interlocking Fralians, and you can see just a nice, easy install. I installed them. It was a little bit too big for a center post, so I had to put the outer leg over here, and you know, pretty easy install. The way I put mine is I sit them right just a little bit above the top of the posts themselves and kind of just underneath these post screws. And the reason I do it that way is because of the way the airflow is. If you see, I can put the airflow right next to it right here. The airflow will come from underneath the coil and create a really nice airflow, very flavorful, just a really nice vape all around. So anyway, that's really about it, guys. I'm gonna go ahead and wick this and juice this, and we're gonna get back onto the top view, and I'll see you there. And that was the Twisted Messes 24 Pro Series by Twisted Messes. So what do I think about this RDA? I will tell you that it is very similar to the original Twisted Messes 24. A lot of people might not find that to be such a good thing because they're like, well, why am I buying another atomizer if it's so similar? But I can tell you that the improvements that he's made on this atomizer are meaningful and they do add up. One of the main ones for me, honestly, is the presence of this cogwheel up top here to unscrew this top cap, because on the Twisted Messes 24 it doesn't have that, and sometimes when you really screw that down, man, it becomes a real bitch to get undone. You end up struggling with it. I'd have to take like grip pads and sometimes unscrew it, and they've really made some seriously meaningful improvements with that particular system. Some other things that I like that are big improvements: the screws. The titanium screws are fantastic. I have a really tough time sometimes with some RDAs that the screws just seem so soft and just ready to strip at any second, and these screws are nice and solid, will not strip on you probably ever. As with the original Twisted Messes 24, the airflow is nice and smooth. Wide open, well, okay, so wide open it can get a little bit turbulent, but if you cut down, let's just try it wide open. I mean, it's smooth enough wide open. It's not, you know, it's not super, super crazy turbulent or anything like that, but if I just go ahead and close this down to maybe 3/4 of the way open, now this is 3/4 of the way open. So much smoother when you just cut it down just a little bit, and the flavor jumps like crazy. This RDA can handle some really huge builds, and the build I have in here is not exactly a huge build by any means, but it's a bigger build and it definitely puts out, and it can really handle it. This RDA is incredibly versatile. You can vape this really however you want, and that's one of the things that's fantastic. It's very easy to build on, very easy to wick. The juice well is nice and deep. I've never had any leaking problems from this, and it's just overall a really nice, solid RDA. The clouds are good. The flavor is pretty good, actually. I would have thought that the flavor would suffer given that there's so much, you know, the airflow is so wide open, but because you can cut it down to really any size you want, that isn't really too much of a thing, to be honest. Some of the negatives that I don't like, and really there aren't too many, to be honest with you, but one of the negatives that I don't like is that these O-rings are non-existent. I can barely hold that mod, and sometimes it just doesn't even want to hold it on at all. And these O-rings are not super juicy. I tend to put the top cap onto these O-rings when it's dry because, you know, honestly, even when it's dry, it moves on there just fine. So I've heard from other people that they haven't had the same problem, but all three of the TM24 Pro Series that I have terrible O-rings, and so that's something that I would like to see fixed. That's just a real bummer because it ends up, the O-rings are so loose on here that I end up with a puddle of juice that sits underneath my atomizer. Juice kind of runs down those O-rings and gets underneath the atomizer, so that's a huge bummer. Every time I unscrew this, I have to clean off the mod and clean off the bottom of this RDA, so that's kind of a huge bummer, and I feel like I am cursed with shitty O-rings because I always seem to have bad O-rings, and you guys, you know, frequent watchers of my channel know this, that I always seem to struggle with really, really terrible O-rings. So I would love for that to stop. So if there's any sort of cosmic force out there that is keeping my O-rings loose, please stop. I would really, really like it. I would really, really appreciate it if you would stop. Otherwise, I don't honestly have too much negative to say about this RDA. This is a fantastic RDA, and it's a huge improvement over the original TM24. The way it vapes is very similar, so a lot of you guys out there are gonna say, well, if the build is just as easy and the way it vapes is really similar, why should I buy this RDA? And frankly, if you don't care about any of these improvements and you still have a Twisted Messes 24, maybe stick with that. But I will tell you that you will not regret purchasing one. I have used this and the other two that I have a lot over the past, well, since I got back from e-cig. So yeah, I've used these a lot. They've gotten a lot of good testing from me. And yeah, that's really kind of about it, guys. I don't have a whole lot more to tell you on this. Now, as far as the story of how I got this RDA, that's a bit of a story. I originally bought a Twisted Messes 24 Pro Series from Kent at e-cig. I had some issues with it right away. I tried to build some Fiends coils onto it right away, and I ended up having some really serious resistance jumping issues, and it just wasn't settling down. It was like 0.13, and then 0.26, and then 0.35, and then 0.08, and it would kind of waffle all the way back and forth. And so I went to Kent and I said, look, man, I said, I know these coils are good. These are, you know, Fiends coils, so I know that they're good. I'm having some problems with this resistance jumping, right? And so right away he took care of me. He said, look, he said, here's 2 more, or rather he said, here's 3 more, I'll give you 3 more. And he gave me another black one and a gold one and a blue one. And just said, keep the one you have and whatnot, and just, use these other ones as you see fit. So I kind of got this one for free, but at the same time, it was kind of an exchange for one that wasn't working out for me so well. So I don't really know where that leaves me as far as the disclaimer as to whether I received this product for free. I'll go ahead and say that I did receive this product from Twisted Messes for free, and not necessarily for the purpose of this review, but I did receive this one for free from him. And if you'd ask me if I would go out and buy this again, definitely. I definitely would go out and buy this again. This definitely is a great atomizer. It is not my favorite atomizer of all time, and I would say that it goes into my very good to excellent RDAs kind of category for myself. So yes, I would purchase it again. Anyway, guys, that is all I've got for you tonight. Thank you so much for watching. Please be sure to like, comment, and subscribe if you enjoyed this video. Please be sure to check out my Facebook group as well. I have a Facebook group called Demo's Vape Lounge on Facebook. I'll put a link down in the description for that, as well as to make sure that you check out our live stream. I live stream every single week on Friday night at 9 p.m. Central with Tenacious TX Vapes, Daily Vape TV, and Mr. Just Right 1. We have a show called The Vape Stew, and it's over on Tenacious TX Vapes channel. Go check it out for every Friday at 9 p.m. Central, and it's a blast. You guys will really enjoy it if you haven't seen it yet. And yeah, guys, that's really about it. I'll see you next time. Demo out.